Welcome to Pixels to Polygons, the 40-bit adventure where we explore retro and modern games through a lifetime of play. I'm your boy Yank, and today we're going to be revisiting a franchise that took the gaming world by storm when it was released. And if you were a teenage boy in the 90s, like myself, you had a huge crush on the one and only Miss Lara Croft. Two Tomb Raider games on the horizon, I got the itch to go back and play some old school Tomb Raider, but more specifically, Tomb Raider 2. Now, the question is, does this game still hold up today? Or is it best lived through rose-colored glasses, wrapped in yesteryear, snuggled in the arms of nostalgia?
Pardon me, if that was just your way of trying the doors for me.
Now, I haven't played Tomb Raider 2 in almost 30 years. It came out in late 1997, coming off the hype the original Tomb Raider had built up the year before. And of course, Sony at that time was the new kid on the block, battling it out with Nintendo and Sega. And Xbox wasn't even a twinkle in Microsoft's eye yet. They were still going to have to figure out the Y2K thing in a few years. But anyway, Tomb Raider 2 holds a very special place in my heart. I spent a lot of time playing this game. I spent a lot of time playing this game by myself. I rented it a ton from Blockbuster upon release. I was in junior high at the time. But my fondest memories and the biggest thing that comes to me is having sleepovers with my homie Merkel. He was the only one out of my friend group who actually owned the game. So we used to have sleepovers at his place. And, we'd stay up all night eating snacks, Doritos, drinking Surge, and just playing video games. And Tomb Raider was one of the big games that we played a lot. That and Resident Evil. But we'll talk about Resident Evil in another video. But the Tomb Raider game, I just remember us, man, you'd spend hours in the same area trying to figure out where to go. Because back then you couldn't just hop online and look at a walkthrough. You either had to have a strategy guide that you bought from the store, or if you had like PlayStation Magazine or GamePro or something that had maybe a mini walkthrough, tell you what to do. Or if you had a homie who had already played the game and been there and done that, you could hit them up on the phone and say, hey bro, what's going on? Boom. That's another way. Other than that, you just had to figure it out. So a lot of the times in Tomb Raider, when you're finding a key or you're looking for that item over here, or you just got to go over here and you're backtracking and you're getting turned around and you can't figure it out. But once you do figure it out, everything feels like a huge win. Just to get to the next little area. It could still be in the same level, but the hype is real. And I think Tomb Raider series is just one of those series for me back in the day that gave you that kind of sense of accomplishment when you did finally figure it out. Because there were some areas and tough things. Like, I played these games for years and actually didn't fully finish the game probably till a few years after it came out. And again, I actually had to do it with a strategy guide. But, to get through every single level at that time and whatnot. So, over some time, I actually borrowed Tomb Raider 2 from Merkel. I let him borrow Die Hard Trilogy. And, well, I say borrow, but it was more of just swap because me and him, we never got our games back from each other. We literally just swapped games. But at this time, me and my mom were actually house sitting for another friend of mine, Ryan at the time, for his family. They were out of town. And I was also moving my PlayStation into the living room quite a bit because I was having friends over a lot on the weekends at that time as well, and stuff like that. And my memory card just kept getting erased. And I was like, why? Where's all my data going? I don't understand it. Well, the culprit was I had an off-brand memory card. One of them stuck in there. It was like a dark kind of bubble on the end of it. Anyway. It's probably Mad Cats or something. But the thing was, after this happened numerous of times of my data getting wiped, and usually I was at the Opera House by then, because I'd be like, try to hurry up and just get back to where I was. if you unplug the console with the memory card in, it would wipe the memory card. Well, it took me quite a few times to figure that out. I probably played those first 4 levels 5 or 6 times a piece before I got to the oil rig, and then you finally get into the sunken ship and all the underwater levels and whatnot. Um, so like I said, those first 4 levels are just they're just embedded in my brain because of my own mistakes at the time.
Oh, you are not one of them.
But you are a monk.
Brother Chen Bakang. You have come for me. I saw bright lights around me.
That was gunfire. I think it was them who got taken away by it.
There are multiple ways today to play Tomb Raider 2. You can play it on the PS1 on its original hardware, or you can play it on modern consoles and PC with the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 Trilogy Remaster. Now, I do own a physical copy of this on the original PlayStation, and I do own a physical copy of the Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 Remastered Deluxe Edition on the Nintendo Switch, and I own the Remaster 1, 2, and 3 digitally on Xbox. This playthrough was done on my Xbox Series X. I prefer to play my games on Xbox. Unfortunately, I got the Switch physical version because they didn't release an Xbox version of it until Limited Run did it later down the road. We all know getting physical stuff on the Xbox is getting harder these days, but it's my preference of where I like to play my games. Lara starts her adventure at the Great Wall of China. She's in search of a magical weapon called the Dagger of Xin. Xin? I think it's Xin. Xian. Let's roll with it. It's a magical weapon that an ancient emperor used back in the day to control his army. Now, right out the gate, we just start hitting buttons to try and help figure out the controls here. Because there is no hand holding. It throws you in the deep end and tells you to sink or swim. Which for me is weirdly comforting because I just don't think every game needs that lengthy tutorial that we get with most modern games. So the original Tomb Raider games had what they called tank controls. Very common back in the PS1 era. A lot of different titles, a lot of franchises, genres use tank controls. Now, I am comfortable with the tank controls, but with this remastered version, they do have a different control scheme. You can switch between the tank controls, or they have a more modern control scheme, which I feel like would be a lot easier for newcomers to this series. But again, I prefer tank, so that's what we roll with here. Another feature on the remaster version of this is you could jump between old graphics, the original graphics from the PS1, and the remastered ones here, with just by the flick of a button. Which I think is so cool that they do this on these remastered titles. Like one other one that I love that they do it on is the Master Chief Collection. You can just hop between the two. You can see the difference in pixels and things like that. Now, you will see PS1, yeah, we know the graphics, they didn't really age too well from that era, which I get. But I have a lot of nostalgia for the PS1. So I am very biased to the graphics. I think they look pretty good. I think it just brings back a lot of memories. But I know a lot of people are like, ugh. But Lara, you're still beautiful to me, sweetheart. We got the look and the feel of Lara down, so let's get to the gameplay. This is an action-adventure game that involves precise platforming that is very unforgiving. A missed jump is sure to end in death, or having to climb all the way back up to the top to try it again. That is, unless you save scum. Now, unlike Tomb Raider 1, in Tomb Raider 2, you can save anywhere. You getting ready to take a huge jump? Save. Did you hit that jump perfectly? Save. You just cleared a room of enemies, it didn't take any damage? Yep, guess what? Save. It definitely helps with having to play these things over and over and over again. Now, one thing did rather surprise me about this time around, and that was the fact that this game still feels as big as it did when I was a kid. The levels still feel massive and paint the awesome story of Lara's adventure. You travel to the Great Wall, to Venice, to an oil rig, then leading to the depths of the ocean to a sunken ship, and then somehow all the way to the Tibetan foothills, and then to a supernatural area of floating islands. It's a lot going on for Lara in this adventure, but along the way, she packs some serious heat. You know, her iconic dual pistols, she has the semi-automatic pistols, dual Uzis. Yes, definitely find as much ammo for those as you can. It definitely helps towards the end of the game. You get a harpoon gun. You'll never use it. It's terrible. The M16, great weapon. The only thing is you can't run and shoot with the M16. And of course, you gotta have the grenade launcher. Overall, Tomb Raider 2 is just as challenging as I remember. But the real question is, does it still hold up today? And the answer is yes. 100 times over, yes. I advise everyone, if you are remotely interested in going back and playing or learning about these titles for the first time, play them. It's a great piece of gaming history. They're still great titles. Now, of course, playing the remastered version of this is the way I advise to play it, especially for any newcomers. Seriously though, I think everyone should go back and revisit Tomb Raider 2. Or any of the games in this original trilogy of Tomb Raider for that matter. I think it held up very, very well, and it was a lot of fun to play, especially now that there is an updated remastered version and how easy it is to play these games on modern consoles. So it's easy to go back to. Me personally, I'm going to try to 100% the achievement list on the Xbox Series X for this trilogy. It does sound like a daunting task because it's a long list and it's a lot of points. They actually just did an update too to add even more points to it. But I think I'm up for it as long as I can break it up. If you have gone back and played these old school Tomb Raider games, did they hold up for you? Or maybe there was something you couldn't get past that you were just like, nah, I'm not doing this again. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And if you enjoyed this, please consider hitting that subscribe button. And of course, let me know what game we should visit next. I'd love to get some suggestions. Well, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching Pixels to Polygons, the 40-bit adventure. I'll see you next time.
Don't you think you've seen enough?